Mic test 1 2 1 2. I'm on the beat, so it's new to you. Hey, thank y'all for showing up. I appreciate you for coming live and experience this experience. All right. Experience, TransUnion, Equifax, and these debt collectors be playing games. So we have Mr. Aaron. He's going to talk a little bit. I got some questions to ask him, and I got a special surprise at the end.
Love it. Love it. Man, Dave, thanks so much for that introduction. Mike, did I interrupt you? You want to talk?
I talk entirely too much, Aaron. So if you want to say something right now, here's your chance.
Yeah. So, well, first, let me just start by thanking you guys. I love coming on your show on these live streams to talk with folks in this space. You guys have such an awesome platform. We are partners in so many different ways. Working these cases together, holding debt collectors accountable, suing, credit reporting agencies, and all of that is to say, with us, working with us.
Oh, I think we got some technical difficulties. Dave, can you hear me?
I can hear and see you guys. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. You just broke up for a second.
You just broke up for a slight second. You were saying,
sorry about that.
That's fine.
Yeah, so I was just saying we're going to achieve better client outcomes with debt forgiveness, trade line deletions, higher credit scores, more loans, and more money. So excited to be here.
Oh, yeah.
So if you have questions in the chat, if you have questions, drop them in the chat. We're going to try our best to get to your questions, but I do have some questions for you. A lot of people have some questions.
Love
Yeah.
it.
So what we did was we polled our audience. So little did I know, we had over 1,000 new subscribers last month, and they never seen our stuff. So when we started asking, people to come with more questions, it seemed like to be kind of like repeat questions, but some of them are so good because, like you said, when we started working with you, Aaron, we learned credit repair from the quote unquote credit repair gurus and, the book. But what we didn't know is all the new regulations and stuff that are coming out. So that's why it's like really important to have a lawyer in your corner so that you can learn from, that you can talk to whenever you have a problem. All right. Oh yeah. Shout out to the new subscriber right there. Thank you for commenting. You like the first comment. But yeah, so we wanted to ask some questions. Some of them are easy and some of them are hard, but we got a mixed crowd out there. So we definitely love when you come on. So we can definitely get the right information.
Yeah. And real quick, before we start the first question, let me just give a real 10,000 foot view background. I'm a lawyer. I sue debt collectors every day of my career. I've been suing them for 15 years. I sue Experian, TransUnion, Equifax literally every day. I want everyone on this live stream to know, everyone rewatching this, you've been doing credit repair wrong unless you've been working with a lawyer, because everything we do in this space is backed by laws. Every single requirement, regulation, responsibility, piece of homework, anything that anyone in this space, whether it's a credit reporting agency, a consumer, a credit repair company, everything is on the backbone of many laws that describe how these things work. So if you don't understand the laws, what are you doing? And then if you don't have a lawyer in your corner when everything fails, because we can talk today and tonight until we're blue in the face about what should work, right? We all know if you have an objective inaccuracy or something that's incomplete or inconsistent, it should get deleted, right? Or it should be fixed. But how often do we get that dreaded, it's been verified? So what do you do? What do you do when your credit repair strategies should work? You've identified something that's wrong, that's incomplete, that's just so obvious, but they keep verifying it. You need me. You need a lawyer. So that's what we're here to talk about tonight is litigation-backed credit repair. That's a new phrase in this whole industry, litigation-backed credit repair, where if the credit repair doesn't work, and now you're using tools and resources from lawyers, from partners like Mike and Dave who work with us, partner with us to bring our program into their mix, you're just leaving so much money on the table, so many deletions that you're missing out on. So again, everything is litigation backed. So when I answer the question tonight, we're going to be looking at the lens of not what those experts say, those gurus that Michael was talking about that wrote the book. No, it's from a lawyer who's been doing this 15 years and cut my teeth in federal litigation, in front of judges, in front of juries, because if you're not doing that, I think you're selling yourself short. So anyway, there we go. Background and ready to go.
Hey, Dave, before you go, let me give y'all a disclaimer. Aaron is not your lawyer unless you sign a contract with Aaron, right? This information that he's giving is not for you to be going and spewing everywhere saying, hey, Aaron taught me this or that. No, you definitely will need somebody in your corner. If you do want to reach out to Aaron, you can just, you can reach out to us or you can hit him up. We're going to put his information down below. And last thing, how many of you guys ever seen a consumer lawyer before? Like, let's be for real. So what I want you guys to do is I want you to share this with at least 5 people, if you can. Share this with 5 people and say, hey, you remember we was talking about getting our credit straight? Well, there's a lawyer on here talking about what should and shouldn't happen. Drop a 1 in the chat if y'all going to share this out with at least 5 people. Let me see if 5 people are really rocking with us. There's normally a delay, so I ain't going to hold y'all to it right now. But go ahead, Dave.
All right. Wow. Well, why don't 5 people or those people rocking with us? I have the first question. Based off of your knowledge and information, if somebody has a collection or Midland is interrogating them, what can they do? Now, they didn't give me what state and city, but based off of like general, what can somebody do?
Great question. So first, let's identify the players in that scenario that you just talked about. So someone has a collections or they're dealing with Midland, right? So first of all, let's talk about what a collections is, right? A collection is not your first party debts that you've signed a contract with directly. That's your Capital One, your car. Instead, a collections is after you've had that debt with someone and allegedly defaulted or gone delinquent, they turn it over to a third-party debt collector. That's a collections account. That would be on the credit report in the collections section, which is down below the standard trade line. So that's a collection. Then you also mentioned Midland or Midland Credit Management, one of the boogeymen in this whole industry, right? So Midland is what we call a junk debt buyer. So Midland allegedly purchases a debt from a creditor and now allegedly, and I stress allegedly, owns that debt and tries to collect it. So it's very important to understand those players, because what we can do, what consumers can do, what we can do to fight back depends on who those players are. So now that we know who those players are, the first thing that you can do, if the first communication you receive from a debt collector in Midland, you have 30 days that you have certain rights that you can do. And within those 30 days, you can dispute the debt, portions of the debt, you can ask for information about the original creditor, and so on and so forth. So the first thing that I would recommend, catch them while it's hot. You have a lot more strength, a lot more things that you can do if you catch it early within the first 30 days. So that's the first thing is, if it's within the first 30 days, ask for validation, ask for verification, ask for information to try to shift the burden, to the bad guys, make them prove, their case to you instead of vice versa. Now, if we're outside of that 30 days, this is so important, because I promise you, so many people on this call, so many people watching this live, so many people watching this after it's been recorded, you're doing credit repair wrong because you've been sold this bag of goods that's fake. You're told, just send a debt collector, collections, or Midland a letter that says, I demand verification validation. If you don't prove this, if you don't show me a signed credit application, then I don't owe you money. Take it off my credit report. That is bogus. That is not something that's real. It's not something that has any teeth. But you're here, so you're going to learn what to actually do. This is what you do with these third parties. You have several federal laws that are protecting you. One is called the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act, the FDCPA. That law has a lot of teeth. You can tell a debt collector to stop calling you, and they have to stop calling you. You can tell a collector, I only want to be emailed because I don't like getting calls. You can do that. One of the things, and I love the the title of today's talk. You know, credit bureaus are changing. This whole industry is changing. And one of the new regulations that passed within the last 2 years is called Regulation F. Super powerful tool that every one of us needs to know about, first of all, and how many of you even have heard of Regulation F, but you need to be using it. Regulation F says that you can give a debt collector what you consider the most convenient time and place to be contacted. So think of that. That's the power you have as the consumer to say, don't call me. Don't call me when I'm getting my kids ready for school. Don't call me when I'm making dinner. In fact, don't call me at all. Email me. And the other cool thing too is, Dave, you can then set them up for failure, right? If you set those expectations, you tell them to just contact me that way, and they don't, if they call you one more time, if they send you one letter, they have broken the law. Now we're going to use that law, the FDCPA, to sue them. And as part of that lawsuit, we're going to demand they delete. We're going to demand they forgive the debt. And the cool thing part is you get finality, because when I settle my lawsuit, you get a contract that says that debt's gone forever. It can never be credit reported again. If you send a letter in credit repair and get it deleted, there's no finality. It could pop up next month. But litigation, back credit repair, we're going to sue these folks. And I love suing Midland. Dave, I'm so glad that someone asked a question about Midland, because they violate these laws every single day.
Man, that was a lot. So I have the next question, because we about to fire off. What about a dismissed bankruptcy? What are the parameters or stuff that goes into that?
Great question. So again, let's kind of set the stage for the question. So someone asked about, there's a dismissed bankruptcy
On the credit report.
On the credit report, right? So that would be appearing in what's called the public record section of the credit report. So the first question we have to ask is, what is the truth? And that's really the cool thing. You can start from that simple sentence about everything we ever talk about here on the credit report. Just what's the truth? What's accurate? Okay. What's true? What's complete? So the first thing is, we're going to really dive down into the details. Even if someone did file a bankruptcy, even if they did get that bankruptcy dismissed, they still, the credit reporting agencies and the public records vendors, and that's the company that gives, you know, Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion, they get the bankruptcy information from someone else, right? They don't send someone down to the courthouse to check it. So all of those parties, they must still report accurately and completely. And what we find is it's hardly ever accurate or complete. So we're able to look at what's missing. You know, is the chapter missing? Are the dates wrong? Did they make any payments or not? Was there a meeting of creditors? So, and those are all bankruptcy terms. I don't mean to get too far into the weeds, but just saying that there was a bankruptcy and that it was dismissed is telling the tiniest bit of the full story. And one thing that the Fair Credit Reporting Act requires is not just average accuracy or, yeah, do a good job. No, the law literally says, and I quote, maximum possible accuracy. So just think of that. I mean, that's the standard that I get to use as a lawyer to say, if you don't do something, if you haven't created this credit report with maximum possible accuracy, you're out of luck. You got to delete it. And if you don't, then I get to sue you. So dismiss bankruptcies, if they exist on credit reports, there are plenty of ways we can get those off. It just, the devil's in the details. We got to really pull the petition. When was it filed? Where was it filed? Like I said, was it dismissed on the right date? Was it closed on one date and then dismissed on another? Every single piece of information has to be accurate. And if it's not, we can get that off. Great question.
Go ahead, Mike, because I know you want to say some stuff.
I from what Aaron just said, in my head, when I look at a credit report, I'm like, the smallest detail, like they kind of set themselves up for failure, because the smallest detail can
ruin somebody's life.
It can ruin somebody's life. Like even the date of when you put something on there is important, because when somebody goes to get credit, it could expire in 7 years. It could expire in 5 years. So if they get that wrong, you could potentially not get a house, car, or, you know, something or a job. Aaron, we had this lady, she was an officer in the Army, or was it Army, Dave? She was an officer in the Army, and she had a secret clearance. And with a secret clearance, you need to have above a certain type of credit score, because they need to trust you. and we were able to get it removed. And she literally thanked us so much. She actually went on the radio station, the Breakfast Club, and she thanked us on there too. So even the smallest detail could hold you back from getting so much. And I'm glad you're here talking about it in a broad scope. But when I think about it, I'm like, oh my God, like when I look at a bankruptcy, just a bankruptcy is so many things I can look at to potentially either get it removed or even get compensated if I hired the right attorney.
Absolutely. And you said something I want to really, really talk about here, which is too many people in this space, too many companies in this space are only worried about volume, or they're worried about using certain softwares that can spit out something with a template real quick. We want to get away from those ideas. The more factual based, the more detailed, the more granular we're going to get with credit reports, the more success we're going to have. My team, with our contract paralegal partners, which, by the way, everyone on this call needs to understand, Mike and Dave are my paralegals. We actually partner with them. They develop and implement our litigation program on top of theirs. And by doing that, it opens up a whole host of things that we can do. And we work together daily on consumer and customer files. And you guys can, you can attest, it's not a short process. It's not a quick 20-second look at a credit report. You fling off some letter that says, I dispute everything, prove I owe this debt. No, it's look at this one date that's wrong. And that one date makes these 10 other things wrong. And those 10 other things mean you got to delete it. That's the detail. It's almost like a magnifying glass. We're going through these credit reports because that's the power. And the laws that back them up, you have to be maximum possible accuracy. Think about that, maximum.
That's my favorite law.
With that, standard, it's like the littlest things with enough, precision, with enough arguments, by citing the right laws, by using the right language, by writing a letter in a way that's going to get the attention of these bureaus to actually fix. You have to know the foundational pieces. And that's why we're here. That's why you guys are so great to just have the foresight of, I better get with a lawyer. I didn't find you guys. It was vice versa, right? Which I really, really am so happy about. So you're right. It's the detail, because that one detail could change someone's life, a job, a house, an insurance, product. So that's why we're here.
But it's
All
so
right.
Go ahead, Mike.
Hey, can you guys share this? I know I said it before. Can you guys share it with like 5 other people? Because everybody need to hear this information. I don't know how much longer Aaron is going to be on here. It was like 6 months since the last time we had him on here. We really want everybody to see this. Okay. All right, go ahead, Dave.
There we go.
No, I was saying like it's so frustrating as well. But most importantly, the next question is repossession. That's like the next big topic. First of all, is a repossession illegal? I'm not repossession. Yeah, is a repossession illegal? And quote unquote, can I buy a car for free?
No, you cannot buy a car for free. No dealership that I've ever been to has made that offer. And I'm so glad you say that, because there's so many charlatans and false prophets in this space that just make up these crazy lies about you don't have to pay for a car ever, or even worse, like sovereign citizens saying you never have to pay income tax, all these like weird laws. No, that's not true. Repossessions can be legal. They can be if everything is done exactly to a T. But I would say, in my experience, well over half of repossessions are illegal. Not because you can't take the car because someone didn't pay on the loan, because they've done it the wrong way. That's what separates you from the rest of the people in this space, is you understand the real strength behind how you attack these. So here's what we do, Dave. Again, we're not going to say that every repossession is illegal and it's theft, all that nonsense. No. What we're going to do is go back to the beginning. So there are several laws that forecast and require every party in this instance, whether that's the tow truck company, the bank company, the collection company, the credit reporting agencies, they all have to follow such specific sets of requirements, and steps. And if they miss just one, that repossession is illegal. And then I can get it removed from a credit report and compensation on top. So let me just give you some examples of what that is. Repos are very easy to get rid of off credit reports because they're almost all done illegally. And here's why. Before they repossess your car, they have to send you a letter. That letter has to have very specific things in it. Almost all of them don't. So if they don't send you that letter, the repo is illegal. I can get it removed from a credit report. If they send that letter and it's missing stuff, then I can get it removed. If they send that letter and it doesn't give you the right to come get your personal belongings and tell you where, it's just all these things that repossession companies have to do that they don't. So that's number one. Number two, there's a second letter they have to send out. After they repossess the car, they have to send you a letter that says, we have the car, here's where it is, here's how much money you owe, and here's how to get your stuff out. If they don't send that letter, the whole thing's illegal. We can throw it out and get compensation. If they miss one little thing in that letter, that's only letter two. Then there's a third letter that's required to be sent. That's after an auction takes place. Dave, Mike, I mean, how many companies do you think even send all three of these letters to begin with?
I don't think they sent the first letter.
Yeah, right. Not a lot of them. And so it's not even just the existence of these letters, knowing to look for them, knowing what to look for when you find them is there's probably 100 different avenues to say we can attack a repossession or even a deficiency balance. So let's say it's not even just a repossession. It's just this company, now they're suing for a deficiency after a car was repossessed and sold at auction. There are a million different ways with these letters, with the amounts. Another thing too, this is a phrase you might hear. Repossessions have to be lawful and they cannot breach the peace. So what does that mean? You can't argue with someone. You can't in the middle of a fight take a car. You can't go behind a garage. You can't go behind a gate. You can't even go within a gated community. Let's say you're a tow truck and you're at a gated community and someone's in front of you, opens up that gate. If you follow them through, you have trespassed. You didn't have the right to be in that property. So then if you tow a truck or tow a car from that community, that's an illegal towing because you didn't have the right to be on that property. So that's another way. There are just so many avenues to attack the fundamental principles that underlie these actions, and they're all based upon laws. And if you don't know the laws, you don't know what to look for. So again, repossessions, I love seeing repossessions on credit reports, not because I love to, revel in someone's hardship, because I know that's someone I can likely help, because the parties that are on the other side, they're just motivated by profit and quickness, right? They want to take this car, sell it. They don't want to give you your rights, tell you your rights. And they certainly don't often follow the law, again, to a T, because the minute they step out of line, it gives us the strength to say, you must delete it. And if it doesn't, then we sue.
Man. Hey, Aaron, I got something to tell the people. All right. And agree with me, Aaron, if you believe it's true. These companies break the law so much because it's less than 1% of the people who actually fight back. Do you think that's true?
I will tell you, you need to change that less than 1% to less than 1/1000th of a percent. It is way lower. So we talked about Midland credit earlier. Let me just tell you a little bit of secret. And again, this is some industry secrets that not a lot of non-lawyers are going to know. So let's say Midland buys an old Capital One debt that's $5,000. What do you think Midland pays for it when they
Hold on, Aaron. Before you give that answer, everybody hit that like button and share it to 5 people.
Yes, amen. So this is so important. This is the secret about this whole industry that you need to know. Midland generally pays between 3 and 7% for a debt. So let's just play that out. $1,000 debt, Midland's going to pay $30 to $70 for. A $5,000 debt, it's just going to 5x that, right? So they spend so little on this bad debt, and then they just come after you for the whole amount. So again, let's just use that example. Midland buys an old Capital One car that's allegedly a $5,000 debt owed to Capital One, right? They might only pay $200 for that. But then they're going to come after you for the full $5,000. It's an insane industry because they make so much money. And again, the owners of Midland are on their yachts laughing at us right now. They don't care what we're doing because they make enough money because what you said, Mike, less than 1/1000% of people fight back. Because we're not talking about people that fight back finally when they get sued or when they notice errors in their credit report. I mean, just think of how many people pay debt collectors day in and day out, or just roll over when they're sued and get defaults. So there's just so much power here. I'm so glad you said that, because like Midland is a good example. These players are just paying so little for these bad debts, and it gives us so much flexibility because they just don't follow the law. Excuse me. They're making too much money. And this is another secret. I've been told, I'm not going to mention any companies, that it is far cheaper for them to settle my lawsuits and all the other lawsuits that my colleagues bring than it is to fix the problems. Said differently, people on this call, they don't care about us. They don't care about you. They don't care about your family, your friends. They just care about making money. They know that they're going to ruin lives. They don't care, because it's cheaper for the 1/1000% to fight back, to pay them out, because they're laughing to the bank at the other 999 people that they just got to take advantage of. So yes, way less than 1% of people fight back.
So
is that the same thing for Experian, TransUnion, Equifax, and all these other?
Oh, absolutely. I could throw a whole boot camp, a whole conference on this stuff, as you guys know. But yes, the bureaus, absolutely. They have developed systems. The dispute system itself, the whole thing we're kind of talking about here, right? Which is the process by which, how do you fix something on your credit report? How do you demand something gets fixed or deleted? Is by way of disputing, right? Everyone on this call has to at least know that. You have to dispute to get something removed. But how many people on this call know that the bureaus have created their own separate company called eOscar? And all it is basically computer systems talking to other computer systems. When you dispute, there's barely any human involvement. All it is one computer talking to the next. And that's why you get back those verifications. That's why everything is verified. The system is literally set up to fail, because it's cheaper to pay out lawsuits than it is to fix these problems 100% of the time.
Oh man, that's a whole can of worms. Hey Aaron, I was looking at how many people was on this call. So we got all the way up to 100 people, right?
Woo!
And the only people that should join this call is people with credit problems. So if a collection agency or whoever were to, if everybody on here have one collection of $1,000 at least, that's $100,000 that's on this call right now.
I guarantee you there's over several millions of dollars on this call right now. And here's why. So we've been talking about how to fix and some tools. Let's also talk about the power of these laws. So it's not just that when we sue these folks, the debt collectors, the credit reporting agencies, that we're going to get the trade lines deleted most often. We're also going to get damages for the clients. That's the other great part about using litigation-backed credit repair, is it's not just letters to get deletions. We are actually not only getting the fixes and the deletions, we're getting compensation for the consumers. And that's what these laws provide. Sometimes we're talking life-changing numbers. I'll just give you an example. We had a client who called a couple of years ago. He was being sued by a big bank. I almost messed up and said the bank. And it was a debt he never owed. He was the victim of identity theft. And he called me up. He was so distraught. He was just going to pay it. He's like, you know what? It's only $5,000. Let me just pay it. I just want to move on with my life. It's on my credit report. I've never missed a payment in my life. I'm just going to pay it. Hold on. So glad he called me, because instead of paying that $5,000, he has now earned over $500,000 in our identity theft lawsuits that we have filed against the big banks and the credit reporting agencies. Because time and time again, when we try to dispute, when we send police reports, when we send evidence that that consumers don't owe these debts, again, the system is set up to fail. So we had this poor client who didn't owe this money, who was sued on a debt he didn't owe, thinking, I'm just going to have to pay these bad people to go away. And instead of that, we disputed several times. We got it taken care of. Certainly he's never going to be sued for that debt again. It's off his credit report. And we literally put enough money in his pocket that his wife was able to quit her job, and then their whole life has changed. So that's what we're talking about here, is identity theft, there are big cases, not just small issues that we can get things deleted with, but we're talking changing lives, getting people into their first house, their first job, getting new credit after college for the first time. These companies, like I said, they just don't care. And until we make them care.
Wow. Hey, Dave, go ahead, Dave. Man. I got to let you go because I got a lot to say.
Go ahead.
Oh, what I want to do is I want to ask the audience. I need to know, like, if the audience does have bad credit or whatever. If you got a collection on your credit report, if you drop a 1, if we can get more than 20 people to drop a 1, we'll show you guys how to work with Aaron. And we might actually do a couple of you guys for free. So if y'all drop a 1 in the chat, I just need to know how many people are actually, want to get help. Because like Aaron said, like this is not going to be a quick or fast process, but it's going to be legally backed process, I guess, right?
Exactly.
Because you guys can watch the videos all day. You guys can send the dispute letters. Me and Dave get y'all comments, and we want to help y'all as much as y'all want the help. But the only thing that me and Dave really want to do now is we want to work with lawyers to get you guys results, because on our own, we can't do anything if you get sued. I had a lady come to me and she used our methods and she got her results. She got a house, but then it was a collection letter that came to her house. You get the items removed, but you don't remove the debt unless you litigate.
Exactly.
Aaron, can you talk about that a little bit?
I'm so glad you said it. You put it in a much better way than I tried to earlier, because I called it finality. So you're exactly right. Credit repair, whether it's the best, most ironclad method, if it gets a deletion, great. But there's always something called reinsertion, and that is something that happens in this space all the time. We call it zombie debts. Debts never really die. They always come back to life. So if you get something removed temporarily, that's great. The score might go up, but who's to say that debt doesn't come back when it's sold off again or goes to another collector, another one. So you're exactly right. What we are able to give, what separates litigation-backed credit repair from just other credit repair models, is there's a signed settlement agreement at the end, and that's a new contract that sets, terms between the parties. And that term is always going to be, there's no more debt. It's almost always going to be deleted off the credit report. Sometimes the debt, we get forgiven a lot of money, but if it's not even a lot of money, these cases can still have a lot of value. But you're right, litigation, suing, having lawyers in your back pocket, that's the way you get the true finality. It's gone forever. And if it's not, if it pops back up after we've settled it, well, now we're just seeing money signs, because that case just doubled, tripled, quadrupled in value the second time we have to sue.
Okay. All right, y'all. So I just put the number that you guys can text. I don't think it was 20 people, but anybody who want the help, I'm not going to gatekeep the help. You know what I'm saying? Like, that just ain't something we do. We give out all the information. So if y'all text the word collection here, we'll get y'all into contact with Aaron. But there's a couple things you have to do before you actually get to Aaron. And I don't know if Aaron want to explain that process or if Dave want to ask some other questions. Which one of y'all want to do?
Dave, why don't you ask some more questions? Let's get some more juice going, and then we'll talk more about the program.
All right. So how long, like one of the questions was, what can I do if I'm being sued?
Excellent question. So first of all, go back to something that Mike said. I'm not your lawyer. None of this is direct legal advice to any specific case. So if someone's been sued listening to this, I'm not telling you exactly what to do in your case, and there's no attorney-client relationship. But there are lots of things you can do. Number one, if you take nothing else from this, don't just put your head in the sand. That's the worst thing you can do. That's the worst thing your clients can do, your consumers can do, because that is what they want. Remember, this all ties back to this whole economic idea of they don't want you to fight. They make their profits by you not fighting, on the 999 people out of 1,000 that don't fight. But if you do fight, they often don't like getting hit back, and they will roll over. So number one is just don't put your head in the sand. Don't act like it didn't exist. Don't just pull the covers over your head and hope it's going to go away, because it's not. It's going to end up in a judgment, and a judgment is death. We do not want things to go to judgment. Judgments are much harder to get rid of. I'm sure you all know that. Trying to get rid of judgments on credit reports or judgment amounts. Once it's a judgment, it is so much harder because that becomes something that these companies can go back to court forever to collect. Literally, judgments never die. Not like a debt that has a 5-year statute of limitations. Judgments in most states can literally just last forever. So we want to avoid that. So don't ignore it. So let's talk about what you can do. A couple of things. One is compare information on that lawsuit to your credit reports. It is so frequent that we see a company suing for one amount and credit reporting another. I love seeing that because I'm going to win, because one of them has to be false. Either you're suing for the wrong amount and then you lose your lawsuit and I sue you under the FDCPA, or you're credit reporting the wrong amount and I sue you under the FCRA. So you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. That's one of the best tools to look for, is just look at the simple amount. Is it different between what they're suing for and what's on the credit report? Same thing when you're comparing it to debt collection letters. You know, these companies don't like to sue because it costs them money. You know, us lawyers, we cost money, right? So they have their own sharp lawyers that they hire, you know, that are bottom feeders on the other side, and that costs them money. So they always call and send letters first, right? We all know that. So compare those amounts, you know, look at what's being asserted in a debt collection letter and then what's being sued. You know, that's often wrong. The other thing too is, Dave, here's a secret. If it's a junk debt buyer, if it's the Midlands of the world, the LVNVs, you know, the PRAs, remember, because they paid so little for that debt, you have so much negotiating room with these companies, not only to just settle the debt if you don't have the will to fight or if it's not going to be a winning case, but remember, their margins are so low that what they paid for it, you can negotiate those debts down so much. That's always better than just putting your head in the sand. Again, I just go back to don't get a default. Then just be proactive. One, call me if you have to. Call Dave and Mike, because my goal is to help as many consumers as I can. Even if you're being sued in Alaska, I can't help you there. I want to put you in contact with someone that can, though, because we want to fight. We want to take that 1 out of 1,000 and make it a lot more consumers are fighting back, because we can win these things. When they sue, the whole thing shifts, Dave. When someone calls you up and says you owe debt or sends you a letter, who knows, right? Pay them or not. But once they sue, they're in a court of law. Now they have to prove beyond the shadow of a doubt, you know, by a preponderance of the evidence, that you owe the debt. That's a whole different animal. So once it gets to suit, there are, again, strategies. We want to use the laws, look at what's being credit reported, how they've collected the debt, the amounts, you know, the dates, everything with a fine-tooth comb, because there are ways to win these lawsuits. Just like there are ways to get repossessions off a credit report, even if there was a repossession. If someone defaulted on this debt, it doesn't mean you lose automatically. You should not just get a default. But we want to fight back, especially if it's a junk debt buyer. First party debts are harder, Dave. I just want to be transparent. If it's Amex suing or a credit union suing, it's always harder because they're in privity of contract. You know, they've probably got the signed application still. They probably have all the payment records. When it gets sold over and over again, by the time it gets to Midland and LVNV and all those, you know how hard it is for them to find the paperwork to really prove their case. So if someone's getting sued, fight back. Reach out to Dave and Mike, reach out to me, reach out to a lawyer in your state. There are ways to win these cases and then to fight back, because what I love to do, my favorite thing in the world, is when one of these junk debt buyers sues my client, they're going in all, you know, bravado. They think this consumer is going to roll over and get a default. But then I show up, we kick their butt, we win, and then I sue them. Not only we won the lawsuit, but now I get to sue them because they've broken the law somehow. And it almost is always the case that if we're able to win a case, it's because they filed something wrong. They were missing information. They, like I said before, one number didn't match the other. There are many outlets that we can use to win when someone's being sued, but then also to sue back. And that's fun, because then instead of them getting money from you, it's the opposite. They're paying me and they're paying you.
Sheesh. So when I was in your office, right, came down, listened to your other lawyer, and he was talking about evictions.
Yes.
Can you explain some of the stuff about, because I got another questions about evictions, like
Of course.
how can I get that? And I was like, I don't know everything because I'm not a lawyer. So I was like, I can't wait, because man, it's crazy.
Well, first of all,
some of the process, like everything.
You just reminded me. So yeah, we had a showcase down at the office. Dave and Mike came down. We filmed some content. We got a lot of work done together. Part of what we did is we filmed a series we call Consumer Law 101. And that's a video series that's available for purchase that teaches these laws, right? So Mike and Dave can talk about it. They get access to the course as our affiliate partners. We want everyone to understand at least the basics, because if you don't know the basics, then what are you doing here? So with all that being said, one of the video teaching series we have is all about landlord-tenant law and evictions. So what you were watching, Dave, that you were listening to my colleague Jordan Isringhouse talk about, was the filming of that lecture series. But it is a whole nother avenue where there are so many tools that we can use for and as consumers to fight back against them. And I'll give you kind of a quick analogy. Just like there are things that the repossession companies have to follow, same thing with landlords, same thing when there are evictions. If they were off by $1 on an amount that was owed, still when someone's left, $1 is enough. And then I can get that eviction tossed. This is something they always do. How many people get charged for a carpet cleaning fee or some fee all of a sudden at the end that you didn't know about? That's illegal. You can't charge fees that aren't in the lease or provided by statute. But landlords do this all the time. Or one of my favorite is, how often does the damage always ends up being exactly the amount of the security deposit?
Oh my goodness. Oh, I forgot to contact you, Aaron.
Right?
Yeah.
It's like it's too coincidental, right? It just cannot be so magical that landlords owe the damage. So that's illegal. If you don't get your security deposit back, if they don't send you a certified letter about your security deposit, if they overcharge you, if they charge you for fees that they can't.
They have to send you a certified letter.
Yeah. So like, for example, in the state of Florida, I just saw someone ask about Consumer Law 101. Oh, we'll get there. We'll give you access, of course. So in the state of Florida, for example, if someone is going to keep any part of your security deposit, they have to send you a certified letter first. Who does that? They don't do that, you know? So like, that's one example of by knowing these other laws, you can use them as ammunition and as leverage. So if I find out that, any Florida landlord didn't send a certified letter, I get that eviction gone. Not only do I get it gone, but usually I'm going to put money in the client's pocket on top of it. That's another area, just like the repossessions, where there are so many pitfalls that these defendant companies can fall into, but we're not using them. Well, we are. You guys are, and I am. The rest of us need to, because you can't just dispute an eviction or a landlord-tenant issue and ask and hope for it to be deleted without really knowing why, and in that video series, part of Consumer Law 101 will teach you. So I'm just going to give a real quick since we're talking about it, and since Beauty and Faith Consulting asked about it. So Consumer Law 101, real quick. There's 6 levels. Levels 1, 2, and 3 are video series. Level 1 is all about the FDCPA and the FCRA. That's the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act and the Fair Credit Reporting Act. Those are the fundamentals. Those are the 2 most important foundational laws that everyone in this space should know, at least the basics of, to be in this space. That's level 1. Level 2 is the EFTA, which is the Electronic Funds Transfer Act, and the FCBA, the Fair Credit Billing Act. I'd probably ask you in the chat, put a 1 in the chat if you've ever even heard of those laws, let alone used them. So those are 2 laws, federal laws, that have such power for consumers in this credit space that barely anyone's using. Again, let alone heard of. So all those scams now that are happening with Zelle and PayPal and Venmo, the EFTA covers that. Any credit card billing dispute, the Fair Credit Billing Act covers that. And all of these laws are additional ways that we can get things deleted and then sue. So that's the second level. Level 3 is repossessions, auto fraud, and landlord-tenant. That's kind of the coup de grace. If you don't know the basics of the FDCPA and the FCRA, you're doing okay. Then if you layer in the EFTA and FCBA, real power players in this space are going to know the basics of those laws, plus landlord-tenant, plus repossessions and auto fraud. That is such power. I can't do this, 365 days a year. I wish I could, but I know the questions that are going to be asked. I know what needs to, what you need to know. So that's what these videos, so it's about 75 videos between those three levels. Then we have scholars. So Mike and Dave are scholars. They're Consumer Law 101 scholars. That means you're above those video levels. We have subscriptions that are available where you can, what we're doing here, is 1 hour. We do one of these a week for 2 hours. That's live every single week. The first hour, we take pre-screened questions submitted by the scholars. You're having a hard time with this complicated repossession, or here's a credit report with 34 collections. Like, let's tackle it. We do spot check scenarios. And then the last half is just like we're doing, a question and answer period. So that's once a week. Then we have a group chat that you can subscribe to where you're asking real-time questions answered by lawyers. And then here's the Cadillac. You can have me one-on-one on a private retainer chat where you basically have a text message with me and you one-on-one. And again, that's the Cadillac, but that's where the real work is done. We want
so
to
if you're
go ahead.
I was gonna say, if you're an aspiring entrepreneur, you're looking to get, a part of this, be a part of the credit team, not part of the credit team, but at least start a credit repair company the correct way.
Yes.
I'm gonna drop the link in a second.
Yeah, and honestly, consumers on this call could probably benefit from it. We do have a consumer video series that's going to be launched in a couple months, but that course is where we would send everyone to say, you shouldn't even be in this space unless you understand these basics. And you're selling yourself short and your consumer clients short if you don't know how to use these laws. And again, the higher level classes in the Consumer Law 101, universe, that's when you get access. You're part of the hive mind. We're trying to basically build a law firm of law firms, or a law firm that's built up with credit repair companies. Because I always say this, Mike and Dave, you've heard this 100 times. People don't find me. They don't even know I exist, right? No one's Googling, I need to sue Experian under the Fair Credit Reporting Act for 1681. Bullshit. What they say is, I need help with my credit, or I need, credit repair. And they find you. They find partners that we want to work with, that we trust, who understand it. And you guys are amazing because you get it, right? You understand that the whole thing is built on law. So why aren't we talking about laws? Why aren't we talking with lawyers? So love it. If anyone is interested, we're going to put information in the chat. If you're interested in Consumer Law 101, we have a discount code that are, from the credit team here, offered by Dave and Mike, that will be available. It's 20% off the class. That'll expire Friday at midnight. We don't often give discounts on these classes because we spend a lot of time and effort making them, and there's just so much there for you. But definitely check it out. Ask us, contact Dave or Mike, contact me. The whole purpose is basically we want to take what we just did tonight and then layer it over a whole series of videos, because we know what the questions are. We know the same questions that the consumers are asking, that the credit repair partners are asking. And so let's all get better, because the more we know, the more laws we know, the better client outcomes. And I'm just not kidding. There's so much money to be made on top of the deletions, on top of the debt forgiveness. So we just love with our content, partnering with you and giving you the tools to do better. Because the more you use these laws the right way, the more we're going to have the other side on the run, and not vice versa.
Hey, I wanted to say something, because I think it needs to be said. If you have a collection on your credit report, I think you should get this program, because number one, you're going to need a lawyer on your side. And I tried to find a consumer lawyer, and Aaron, I ain't gonna lie to you. I went to this guy down here in Jacksonville. He still ain't returned my call. You know what I'm saying? Because he didn't think like a collection, maybe I'm just projecting, maybe he didn't think a collection was good enough. Maybe he wanted a lot more money, So what I can say is,
Hey,
if you
Aaron,
sign up for,
I called Mike. That was the funniest conversation ever, man. Mike, he was so upset with the paralegal.
yeah, it was funny. But to get back to it, I see when I saw this question right here, this is the first thing that came to my mind. You can assist your family members, you can assist your friends.
Absolutely. Brad just said that. Yes. Amen. Amen, my friend.
Yeah. So if, let's say hypothetically, 10 people in your life with a collection, this thing could pay for itself, and you can gain the knowledge that a lot of people ain't sharing. when I was talking to Dave about, creating the YouTube channel and the information he's giving, I'm like, dude, you are literally giving people the right advice when a lot of people are giving the wrong advice just for
Exactly.
clicks and likes. But this thing that you're doing, we a couple people reached out to us, Aaron, and said, "Hey, I started a credit repair company based on your information." And I'm like, "Hey, it gets better than that, especially when you got a lawyer on your side."
That's right. That's right. So it's a perfect segue. What I get out of this is so important. So one is I get access to consumers through you all, through people who have problems of their own, through friends and family members, or from like you guys, entrepreneurs who are trying to help others in this space. Because like I said, they don't find me. No one's Googling SRA lawyer to sue. What I want to do is take as many cases as I can. That lawyer you just described, Mike, too many of my colleagues are the same way. All they want are the big game cases, the huge identity, the $500,000 case I mentioned earlier. Some of my colleagues only look for those and only take those. Great. That's fine. They can make a good living. They can help a few people and help them a lot. I want to do much more than that. Partnering with you all, partnering with people that have volume, because the small one collection case is just as important to me as the $500,000 identity theft case, because that person who I get that one collection removed forever might get a job, or their credit score might go up 20 points, and now they got a better interest rate, and now they can feed their family better every month because their payments are lower. So I am not the lawyer that is going to shy away from big cases or small cases. We want small, medium, big, all the way in between. You guys know we break cases into gold, silver, and bronze. I love bronze cases, the tic-tac ones, because they get results. They get deletions. They get debt forgiveness. I'm happy when I see collections accounts because I know I'm going to help that person. And Mike, you said, how many of you know 10 people with collections? I'll go one step further. There's some good studies that say 40% of credit reports have grave errors. And a grave error is defined by an error that would impact your credit worthiness. So I don't even need 10 people with collections. I just need 4 out of the 10 people that everyone in this call knows. All we need is access to consumers and their credit reports, and we're going to be able to identify so many errors, even on someone that's good credit. Might just be, let's see what's on there, because if it's not accurate, consistent, and complete, it can be even better. Then why not go from a 710 to a 760 credit score? Because you use litigation to, it's not just the 480s, the 520s, the 600s. We want to hold everyone accountable. Every credit report could be unlocking so much potential of damages and results.
Man, hey, if y'all like this information, man, hit the like button, man. Aaron, we love having you on, man. You such a wealth of knowledge, and I know if we sit with you even more, we'll learn a lot more. I was going through your course, and then I was looking because we sent out the email, and somebody says I have a lemon, so I went to your course and I look up the lemon thing, and then I learned that it's not for used cars, it's for new cars.
Right.
So I'm like, oh my goodness. I'm like, okay.
You said lemon, right? LEMON, right?
Yeah, lemon. I'm sorry.
No, exactly. And for the viewers, what he's talking about is someone emailed and said, I have an issue with a car, right? They think it's a lemon. You did the exact right thing. You went to our course. We have a whole series on auto fraud issues, repossessions, and just general auto issues. And one of them is, no, lemon doesn't mean any old car that doesn't work. That is not the case. And so many people think differently. But you just hit the nail on the head about the strength of what this course can offer is, if it's a question that you have about your credit report or about one of your families or friends' credit reports or your client, the answer is probably in this series. And if it's not in the videos, I can guarantee if you want to be part of the hive mind, the scholar level, that's the high volume. That's when I hire you as my paralegal, by the way. That's when you get to say, I'm a paralegal with a law firm and I'm helping myself, helping my family, my friends. Absolutely. All of that is to say, let's fight back. Everything is not just take from these companies. No, we're going to take the fight back to them. We're going to sue them. We're going to get client outcomes. Again, I just can't say it enough. More deletions, more debt forgiveness, more debt waiver, higher credit scores, happier clients, and more money. That's the whole ball game.
Man, hey Aaron, we got to let you go. We can't let you go over an hour.
I'll tell you what, we got 5-10 more minutes. Let's do 2 more questions, and then we'll do one more final plug for the course and where they can find all that information. How's that sound?
Hey, it sounds good to me.
Hey, what's up, Colette? That sounds good to me. So if anybody got a question, I'm in the chat. Fire it off real quick. But how long is the process once you decide to sue the credit reporting agencies? Like, how long is that usually?
That's a great question. Excellent question. So remember I said we break everything down into a gold, silver, and bronze case. The anticipated length of time is basically tiered the same way. Gold cases, the real high dollar value ones, the real big cases, they're going to take up to 2 years. That's just how the nature of federal litigation, but it's worth it. You know, a check at the end of the day for several hundreds of thousands of dollars, you can wait. The silver cases, they can take up to a year, you know, sometimes 9 months to a year. Bronze cases, those are 3-6 months, sometimes even quicker. But that's all to say, if we're in litigation, it's because A, we've decided it's the better route for better outcomes, or B, it's the only route, right? So sometimes we're suing because, again, those damn verifications that keep coming back that shouldn't be verified, and we have to sue. If litigation is the only, recourse, if that's our only way we're going to get the fix, then it's going to take as long as it's going to take. But I can tell you, the finality you get, the chance to get damages, the knowing at the end of the day that debt can never come back, that's worth so much.
I
Katie
think
J just asked, have you gotten successful results from any Santander suits? I've sued Santander, I'm guessing 30 to 50 times so far in my career. And
the crazy thing is, can't they look this up too, right? If they
yeah. I have lost once against Santander and won every other. And so that's dozens and dozens of times. That gives you our track record against Santander. They are one of my common defendants, I will say.
I think the misconception for people is if they send a letter to Experian, TransUnion, Equifax, or anybody else and all these other consumer report agencies, that if they get a verified letter, is that they're doing it wrong or something.
Yeah, well, they might be doing it wrong. In fact, if they're not using our systems, they probably are doing it wrong. Let's be real. But
no, this quick give it like it's like some, you know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah. No, and that's why I want to solve 2 primary problems for you. One problem is I want to be a solution when your efforts fail, right? So even if you don't fully adopt the litigation-backed credit model, even if you're not a consumer law 101 scholar, still take away from this to know that you can fight back, that there are ways that we can get deletions through litigation, but it's not the only way. And it's not so credit repair can work. If it doesn't work, then we want to come in. So that's you hit that brick wall of it should work. It's an easy error. It's an inaccuracy. It's something we can prove, but they keep verifying. That's one problem. The other thing too is it looks like Polanco just asked. Great question. I'm so glad you asked that. He asked, can I help in New York? The other problem I want to solve for everyone is I have attorney partners across the whole country. So the other half of my business model is connecting with consumers through folks like you two. But then I also want to work that case with you as my paralegal partners to then get it to an attorney in no matter what state, or even a lot of the US territories. We have cases in Puerto Rico, we can sue in Guam, but we want to help across the whole United States. And that's my job, is take the consumers that I'm connected with, put them through our litigation-backed credit repair system. Then we're going to have cases, and then I ship them out, and I partner with attorneys across the whole country. So this is a system that can work no matter where you are. Have I sued portfolio recovery associates? Hundreds of times.
Yeah, I was going to say, you said that earlier. I think you just called them PRA.
Yeah, PRA. The debt buyers, the Midlands, the LVNVs, all of them. They've been sued so many times. So right, Yasmin just asked, when it comes back verified, what's next?
What's up, Yasmin? Yasmin, I'm sorry if I said it wrong. Thank you for supporting, watching the videos.
Yeah, so she just asked, when it comes back verified, what's next? Well, what's next is you find me, right? Or you write another letter, or you take this course, and now you know what actually that letter should say that's going to be more successful. So don't just give up. One of the things that I tell all of our partners is I want to help you with the chargebacks, with the bad reviews, because consumers are going to be pissed off, right? They're going to come to you with an error, And you're going to be saying, I know, I'm trying, I'm doing everything I can to get it to fix, but they're just middle fingering me. What do you do then? That's when you come to me. That's when you partner with a lawyer. That's when we hit them in the mouth and say, no, now you're going to fix it. Now you're going to delete it. Now you're going to pay my client and you're going to pay me. Oh, and by the way, I don't think I've said this yet. The consumers never pay anything out of pocket once it gets to litigation. That's the beauty of this. They never pay. The consumers get the lawyers on a contingency fee basis. So they never pay anything out of pocket. And even if they lose, they don't pay. That's the beauty of these statutes. So it's almost entirely risk-free for the consumers other than the time, but the payoff is just so extraordinary.
All right, man. Hey, I'm gonna just stop asking questions because I went through the course already. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I got the information. I just need a lawyer to sue on my behalf.
So like I said, we'll put this in the chat. Go to consumerlaw101.com and then use your discount code CreditTeam20. That's going to save you 20%. We hardly ever offer discount codes on the coursework because, again, it's 75. It's a labor of love, and it's so important. But that'll expire Friday at midnight. You've got 48 hours to think about it. Ask us, reach out. I mean, they've taken the course. They can tell you how valuable it is. But remember, if you take the course, then you're going to be better at this, better at the disputing, better at the credit repair, and you're going to be sending me clients. Then you're going to be making money because I'm going to pay you to do that. So get the course, start in with us. We can't wait. Dave, Mike, thank you guys. We love you. The credit team is one of, if not our highest, working partners that just gets it. You guys get it. Your clients get it. Your audience gets it. So we just love coming here with you guys. Thank you. Again, go to consumerlaw101.com, Credit Team 20. Dave and Mike, I'll have them put my contact information up. But for those of you that want to get to me, you can always get to me through them, through Mike and Dave, because they're, like I said, they're my paralegals. You're going to likely be working with them anyway as you come through the program. So thanks again so much, guys, and just love every minute here. Thanks for what you do.
Thank you. Appreciate it for having your time. Appreciate
All
it.
right, Aaron.
Sorry
For bothering you. I know you're doing a lot of litigating.
No, believe me, I love it because I can't litigate unless I get clients. So this is how we get clients, and we get it the right way. So just remember, guys, we're going to help you sue. We're going to get better client outcomes, debt forgiveness, and put money in your pocket and the consumers.
Okay. Hey, Dave, can you put that in the chat one more time? Somebody was asking about it. My bad. But yeah, that discount code is y'all need that 20% off.
Yeah, let me put it here to consumerlaw101.com. Discount.
Yeah, Aaron, when you was talking about the course, I was like, man, our people gonna love this because oftentimes, we help a lot of people, but then there's a lot of people who stuff come back verified, and I'd be wanting to tell them to go reach out to a lawyer, and then I just know some lawyers just won't take them seriously.
Well, and here's why. And I will give my colleagues some slack here because we're so busy and these cases are so complicated with all the documents that everyone is just like overworked and they get bogged down with the idea of how much work it takes. We have built a system that's so easy and so efficient that we're able to do more volume and just get better results because of it. These other lawyers that only take the big cases or they don't have the systems in place, we're all about systems. You guys too. I mean, we're obsessed with processes and systems, and we are more efficient because the more efficient we are, the more people we help. The more people we help, the more money we make. And that's really the whole ballgame, right? So thank you guys again so much. We can't wait to sue for your clients, for clients on this phone call, on the video. Go to consumerlaw101.com. Get that discount code. It'll only last to Friday. After that, you'll have to pay full price. It'll still be worth it, but we can't wait to hear from all. Go ahead. Mike, I lost your audio.
Oh, somebody said it's not available for consumers. Can you explain that to the people?
Oh, so great question. Right now, the course is designed for credit repair professionals. So those who have a credit repair business, those who want to get into the space, but it absolutely can be used by consumers. I will tell you though, within the next 1 month on consumerlaw101.com, there'll be a whole separate course for consumers. That's a little bit more dialed down. It's a little bit less information, because every credit repair company is going to need to know all of those laws. Not every consumer is going to have each of these issues. So you can kind of a la carte. But I would still say that the product there now is amazing for consumers, especially for consumers who might want to get into the space or just love knowing about it and really want to do right by themselves and their family. You can, I mean, just think an amortization schedule on a mortgage. If you save 1% interest rate by increasing your credit score by 25 points, you're talking maybe $50,000 in savings over the life of that loan. And that's just one small issue. So these small issues become big issues that change lives, and we're going to do it together by suing. So yeah, great question. I would recommend for consumers, the discount code works the same. It's amazing course content. There will be a consumer series available, but also the scholars. The scholars is where it's at, because that's when we're fighting as a team across the country, taking on these guys together.
Yeah. So when I was thinking about it too, I'm like, everybody should just join a professional level, because they'll be able to talk to you about their personal case if they got one.
Oh my God, I can't believe I forgot this too. Hold on. The biggest part about this, the professional level comes with my templates. I forgot to say this.
Oh yeah, I remember.
Oh my God, this is probably the biggest benefit to the whole thing is with each level, you get lawyer drafted letter templates that come with each of those thematic elements. So you're going to get 3 to 4 different FDCPA focused letters that have been drafted by me and my team over 15 years of experience. You're going to get F-Series dispute letters, my dispute letters that I use. You get those templates with explanation on how to use them. There's a 30-minute video that is just me sharing my dispute letters, going over them piece by piece, talk about why each step is important, what you need to include. So we've got letters on how to fight landlord-tenant issues and the dispute letters on repos. So yes, everything I said has content about the videos and the knowledge, but the best part about it, you get my product. Again, that's been weather battle tested with juries, with judges for 15 years. So that's probably the best thing, a part of the course. I forgot. But yeah, no, now you've got tools that actually work. These are lawyer drafted template letters that work. And if they don't work, come to me, because then I'm going to use those same letters and sue them. So yes.
Yeah, I'll see why the value is, because, hey, I can't, do what lawyers do. So I just,
hey Dave,
not yet. You can't.
This right
So
here.
you go to law school.
Yeah.
That's
hey
right.
man, we got to protect Aaron at all costs, because if we keep talking about credit, he's going to stay here and he's going to be all off schedule. So with that being said,
thank you guys again so much. Just so appreciate what you do, allowing me to come onto this platform. Just can't wait for the next time. Thanks again, guys. And thank you for all watching. I'm hopping off.
Appreciate it, Aaron.
Bye. All right, Aaron. Man, hey man, I just love Aaron, dog. He's so real, and I'm glad for everything we learned from him, because we was able to help so many people. So, man, I'm just excited for y'all who in the audience who's going to take this opportunity to work with a lawyer, because people are on the internet saying things about credit repair, and they can't get a lawyer to touch them with a 10-foot pole. So, shout out to the people who used our templates, our letters, and got results. We definitely rock out with y'all. Just let us know.
Like you said, it works. It's just like these people don't really care. They're in the business of making money. Just letting y'all know they're in the business of making money. So they really don't want to take it off your credit report. They're gonna lose out on money.
So. Yeah. So if y'all stuff come back verified, I think most importantly, what I want y'all to do is I want y'all to do the math. Let's say if you sue, the FDCPA is a statute for collections. So you can sue a debt collector and win $1,000 minimum. I mean, oh, my bad, $1,000. If you got more than 2 collections, what Aaron taught us was, if you got a collection, you can sue Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax. That's 3 people that you can sue along with the debt collector. So that's 4 people that's in the suit. But if you're in our program, we're not suing just them. We're suing Innovis also. We're suing Clarity.
Them snitches, boy. That's what
So we just started suing the snitches. And the crazy thing is, and I think Colette is in our program. So all you need to do is get these reports. And if you can spot the collection and send them a letter, all you need to do is show Aaron proof of that letter, and Aaron is going to do all the work. And it's so powerful. It changed the way we did our business. Like, a lot of people asked us to do credit repair. And a lot of people we actually turn down because that one person is like $7,000 by itself. So it's like I don't have the capacity to reach out to everybody for $100 a month over and over and over.
And
So
we don't
why
like
not?
to take people's money too, because we know that this ain't going like the correct way to get results. So that's the reason why we don't really do. Just teach you how to do it yourself, or hire a lawyer to knock the credit bureaus out. Most importantly,
Yeah, and I'm glad we can show people like this. You guys are absolutely correct. I've been searching for this consumer law information, man. Yeah, so y'all can reach out to Aaron.
Mike been searching for this for the last 2. He's like, bro, you need to get.
Three, bro, 3 years I was searching for a lawyer to do exactly what Aaron does, and y'all got you guys can look him up. He's in Florida. It's called Swift Law. If y'all go on Google, just Google Swift Law in Florida.
Yeah,
Tell
he's
him
a
Dave
state.
and Mike sent y'all, and if y'all need to just talk to him, he said, I don't know who this is. Somebody Siri. Whole law firm not even provided. Attorney provided 0 credentials, but do pay for his course. Elevate. Hey man, I love my haters. So people like this, man, will definitely miss the mark 100 times out of 100. But yeah, like I said, y'all can Google Swift Law. His credentials was on the screen, and if you still don't believe, you can look up one of his cases. Just type in Swift Law versus Santander, Swift Law versus PRA, Swift Law versus anybody, man. Hey, look, hey man, thank y'all, man, for especially for the people who really show up for support. Yasmin, which says she ain't mean, and I don't believe it. All right, she been waiting to get with Dave for help, but both of y'all are great. All right, Yasmin, definitely. If we sent you an email, or if y'all on our email list, y'all could just text the word collection to.
Oh yeah, hit me up on Instagram if you've been waiting for me.
I just responded to that comment above. Oh, okay. Yeah, so just text the word collection. We'll get y'all in contact with Aaron. Most likely,
Hey, they
if
want
you're
him,
not,
they want him to have his thing, Mike.
oh, his banner in the back.
Yeah, his big old university
Oh
that he
man,
graduated.
I don't think he gonna let us show his course on here, because I could just share my screen and I can show y'all what's on the back end. But I don't think he gonna let us do that. All right, man.
That's it.
Yeah. So if y'all need to reach,
we should go live once a month.
can y'all want us to go live more? Can y'all drop a 1 in the chat or something? Because I can't see anything else but the comment. The voice. If you ain't got haters, he said you always gotta have one. Hey man, yeah, man.
Always.
All right. Hey,
Hey,
man. Thank y'all for the support, man. We definitely hit over 100 people watching this one video, so we definitely
sure there's more than way more.
Yeah, we'll definitely do it again. Yeah, so yeah, we'll come to y'all more. That way we can answer y'all questions as y'all get them, because Aaron is definitely busy. If you ain't already sent your dispute letter, I don't know if Aaron gonna take you serious, because he want to only work with serious individuals because his time is very important. And yeah. So with that being said, hey Dave. I'm sorry, I'm reading the comment. Okay. All right, man. Well, I'm done. Dave, you got anything else for the people? You want to give them something?
No, I don't got nothing else. I'll see y'all. What is this? May, June, like first week of June. We do a live.
All right, y'all. Peace.